We're gonna make it look fly with some DIY. We're gonna make it look fly with some DIY. We're gonna make it look fly with some DIY. Uh-oh, thrift diving.
Hey, what's up? It's Serena Pia from thriftdiving.com, which is a podcast, a blog, and a YouTube channel that helps you decorate, improve, and maintain your home with paint, power tools, and thrift stores without sacrificing your budget, the environment, or style. Welcome to episode 70 of the Thrift Diving Podcast. Now, I know you're wondering, Serena, are you sick? Oh my gosh, you sound horrible. Well, I told you in episode 1, I didn't like my voice. Well, there's a good reason why I sound like this. My family and I came down with COVID. Yes, earlier this week, we all sort of just transferred it from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And now we're all recovering. But I still sound horrible. I'm the kind of person, whenever I get any sort of respiratory infection, it just lingers in my voice. I get the congestion. It's hard to get my voice back to normal. It usually takes several days. And I sat down here to do a podcast, and I was going to talk to you about getting started with sewing. But as I opened my mouth and realized how horrible I sound, I think I'll save that episode for next week. So what I wanted to tell you today is that there is no episode this week. Actually, this is the episode, but I'm not really sharing with you anything other than the fact that we are doing well. We are doing fine, thank goodness. And it's been, I don't know, it's very hard to explain it this way, but it's been sort of like a COVID staycation. And because we had such mild symptoms, we literally could stay home, relax, not feel like we were rushed to go do work, and spend time with each other. Now, of course, the kids were totally on electronics. So for them, they were already feeling better. And it was all about video games for them. My husband had already started feeling better because he had been infected earlier in the week by my son, my oldest son. He's patient 0 in the house. And so he started taking care of me because I was the third in line to start feeling the symptoms. And I needed just someone to just, bring me some water and things like that. But literally on a scale of 1 to 10, my symptoms were, I would say probably about a 4, 5 max. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. And I'm so thankful because there's so many people in the world that really didn't have mild symptoms. They either lost their life, they're either dealing with long COVID, which hopefully none of us here will. Or maybe they had moderate symptoms or even had to go to the emergency room or be admitted, which is even worse to think that you have to leave your home, the comfort of your home, and go and be in a hospital where you get help that you need, but you're not as comfortable as you are at home. So it really hasn't been that bad for us. And I'm so thankful for that. So as I was laying there on Friday, Saturday, all today. No, I didn't actually lay down all day today. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But as I was laying there over the last couple of days, I thought, gosh, this actually has really kind of forced us to stay at home and be together. And my husband and I, we watched like a really good show. If you like Saturday Night Live, there's a guy on there, Michael Che. He does the weekend updates, right? And my husband said, oh, he's got a show on HBO. It's called That Damn Michael Che. So I said, okay, well, let me go and check it out. Let's pull it up. Let's watch. There's 2 seasons. Funniest show that I've seen in a long time. I laughed. So if you like Michael Che from Saturday Night Live, you got to go and watch his show on HBO Max. It's really funny. It's like a sketch comedy. So think Key and Peele, but from Comedy Central, but not so much with characters. Like they're portraying, for the most part, they're portraying themselves as they are, but it's sketch comedy. So it's actually hilarious. We really enjoyed that. But we wouldn't have laid down to do that unless we were forced, which we were, to be at home together. Because normally on the weekends, my husband works. And then on the weekends, I'm usually in the shed doing a project or in the basement working on the computer. Kids are on the computer doing electronics, and we're all in different parts of the house or in the world, I should say. But even tonight, right before recording this, we watched on Netflix The Hustle, and it's with Adam Sandler And I think it's also by, oh gosh, why can't I think of his name? LeBron James. It's about basketball. So if you're not a sports fan, that's okay, because my oldest son, he's not a basketball fan, but he really enjoyed the movie. Well, I won't go into the whole story of what it's about, but if you like Adam Sandler movies, you'll like this movie. And it's not so much a comedy. It's more of someone trying to fulfill their dreams of going to the NBA. And it's an excellent movie. Everybody in the family enjoyed it. And if we had not had COVID, my husband wouldn't have been here. We all would have been off doing whatever it is that we're doing. So it really forced us to come together. So that's the one positive I can say for the week that I wanted to report out to you, that, even though it sucks having an illness that really can take your life, thankfully ours was mild. It did feel nice being able to come together. What really sucked is that my son, my youngest son, he loves basketball. And this weekend was supposed to be his 2 last final playoff games. And guess what? He couldn't go. Oh, it was so sad. I really wanted, because I love 5th grade boys basketball. I mean, I look forward to that so much on the weekends. I really do. And to know that it was supposed to be last weekend, but the team had overbooked well, actually, it was not just 5th grade that was canceled. All of the playoffs were canceled last week because the gym was overbooked. So we had to wait until this weekend. And then, of course, boom, COVID happened, can't play. He's disappointed, but, he didn't cry or anything. It's fine. But we still wanted to participate. But, I pointed that out to my sister, and she had to point back out to me that when she had gotten COVID, which was, I believe it was December of 2020, it was right before her cancer diagnosis. Remember, she had cancer in her eye. And right at that time when she was supposed to go in for her surgery, she had contracted COVID and she couldn't go do the surgery at that time. It delayed things a little bit. And she ended up having long COVID. I think she still has situations where she gets really winded. And so I think she's got some existing long-lasting lung damage, and it's impacted her life. So she pointed out to me okay, remember, I pretty much had to give up a year of my life because of long COVID, didn't get to hang out with my daughter as much due to my health issues. So him missing 2 games, not really a big deal. So, she pointed that out to me, and I thought, okay, she's got a point there. Regardless, we were still disappointed. But again, considering that we're all healthy and we're all getting through this and we seem to be improving, then that's a good thing. And, I've got one of those little oxygen, what's it called, an pulse oximeter. So I've been testing my oxygen level for all week, literally all weekend, and putting it on my husband, my kids, making sure everybody's good, and just making sure that, nothing's going to do that sudden turn that you hear about on the news where someone's like, oh, they were improving. We thought they were coming home. And then the next day they were gone. So I just keep monitoring, making sure I'm improving. And right now, you hear my voice. It sounds horrible. I feel fine. Fever broke, I guess, yesterday. Yeah, fever broke yesterday. And really the only symptoms are the voice, and I still have some chest congestion. But overall, my oxygen is good. My heart rate is good. I actually went out for a very, very easy walk today because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was not going to push myself. And it was probably half a mile. I don't think it was a full mile, but I did walk and made sure that I got up and, I got a shower. I did my hair. I put on makeup and I looked like myself again. But I can tell you, as I started walking, I didn't get winded or anything like that. I didn't feel winded. My oxygen level was pretty good. I did feel worried. I think it was more of a fear and just being very careful that I didn't push myself, because you think that you're stronger than what you are sometimes, especially when it comes to COVID. You just don't know how your body's going to react. You think you're getting better and then boom, something just happened. So just, I wanted to make sure that didn't happen. We are vaccinated. We are boosted. and I'm feeling pretty good about our recovery and where we are right now. So I wanted to get on here and talk about sewing, and I'll tell you why I wanted to talk about sewing, even though I'm not going to do the whole episode on this topic, is because when I got started with the project, the one I just posted on my YouTube channel, you can find it down below in the link. I had sewn the canopy, right? I had to do the mosquito nets, and I had to do the hook and loop tape at the top, and at the bottom I did the border. And it felt so nice to just pull out my machine and get started with sewing. Like, it was just so much fun, because a lot of the projects I do now don't involve fabric, unless I'm doing maybe an upholstery project and I need to sew something together. And I just thought, I was like, you know what? I really want to talk about sewing, because it's such a relaxing, gratifying hobby that if you are not sewing and you've always wanted to, I'm going to just kind of talk to you about why you should move in that direction. And if you're looking for, like a new hobby for 2022 or 2023, then this is something that you can look into, and it's not as expensive as you thought it was. And I also wanted to share with you, and I'll do this in the next episode, because I'm starting to talk too much. I need to rest my lungs and my voice. But I wanted to actually share with you the interesting story and how I got started with sewing, because it's sometimes like when you hear something and it just sparks something inside of you, you know that that's what you were supposed to be doing. And that's what my story was like. So I'll share that with you next week. We'll do the whole, getting started with sewing. But I just wanted to jump on here and let you know I'm okay. My family's okay. I'm going to be doing breathing treatments. I'm just putting my head over a pot of steaming, like ginger / whatever my husband put in there. I'm making sure that I'm breathing some steam into my lungs. I do feel like at nighttime, my throat starts to hurt. And maybe if I do one before bed, maybe it won't hurt before bed. So it's been that way the last couple of days. And I still feel like even as I'm talking here, like you can hear that I still have some like congestion way down deep, and my mouth is getting dry as I'm talking. But overall, I feel, so much better than what I did. Even though it wasn't that bad, the fact that I'm up, moving around. Oh, I will tell you, there was a really scary incident that I had. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. I woke up super early, not this morning, but the morning before. It was like 3:30 in the morning, 3:45. My throat was sore. And I thought, okay, let me go down to the kitchen. I'll get some tea. I'm going to do a breathing treatment, boil some water, put my head over a pan, put a towel over my head, and just breathe that steam in and just loosen up whatever's in there. So I get downstairs, I'm boiling the water, I'm sitting at the table in the kitchen, and I started feeling faint. And I felt like, okay, I better go lay down, because I just feel, oh. So my living room has 2 steps to go into the living room. It steps down from the kitchen. So I go the 2 steps down, and suddenly everything just went black. I was still like, I didn't pass out. And there wasn't a lot of light in there, but there was a little bit of a light coming from the kitchen. So it wasn't like I couldn't see anything. I mean, it wasn't like I shouldn't have been able to see. But when I stepped down on those 2 steps, it's like the world just went black. And I'm like, okay, I felt a little disoriented at that time. And I was like, okay, I got to get myself to the sofa. Where exactly, I couldn't really figure out where it was. So I'm leaning down, touching the edge of the carpet, just kind of feeling my way. And when I got to where I wanted to sit down, then suddenly it's like my vision just came back. And I was like, whoa, that was weird. So I laid down for a few minutes. And then after a few minutes, I went to get up because I was going to go do my steam treatment. And I just heard this in my head, this whooshing sound. And I thought, well, is that the air purifier? Because I know it's not usually that loud. No, it was literally inside of my head. And I plugged my fingers in my ears thinking, okay, well, let me see if it's the air filtration. It wasn't. It was coming from my own head. I was like, whoa. Now, I wasn't scared. I was more intrigued. I was like, wow, like I've never almost passed out before. I've never blacked out like that where I literally couldn't see. It's like the world just went black. I don't even know, like, did I see stars? I feel like maybe I might have seen stars, but it was just black. And I just remember feeling around, like trying to just feel my way from memory to get over to where the sofa was. It was so weird. And then afterwards, I thought, oh my gosh, like I've never experienced that before. That was interesting. But thankfully, that was the only time anything happened. Nothing else happened. I didn't pass out. When my family woke up, I'm like, guess what almost happened? And I just relived it to all my family members. And that's it. So I don't know. I think it was maybe just a drop in blood pressure or something as I was sitting there at the table, maybe because I had just been laying down for so long and maybe I just got up and started moving too quickly. I don't know. But as I went out walking today, that's why I was really going slow as well, because I didn't want to put any like undue stress on my body to think that I can manage this hill, which there actually was a hill. But I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. And it was. I mean, I was moving so slow that I didn't want people to start looking at me funny. So I had to pull my phone out of my pocket and like pretend that I was looking at my phone. Well, then I actually did started checking Facebook, but I started looking at my phone so that people would be like, oh, okay, that's why that woman's moving slow, not because she's like looking weird and suspicious. But anyway, I just wanted to get out there and go easy, try to ease myself back into like, I guess my normal routine. And it did make me wonder, when am I going to be able to start running again? Am I going to be able to do my same 5 miles? I mean, maybe not off the bat. Maybe I'll just do 1 mile or 2 miles. But right now, no, definitely not. And also, just in case you're wondering, no, there was nobody else out. I didn't encounter anybody else. So, I wasn't around anybody else where I could have infected them. I literally just needed to get out and walk. And that's what I did. There was nobody else out. And it was great. Great day. And made me feel a little bit back to normal. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you for today. I'm sorry it's not a full episode with anything that I wanted to talk about related to sewing, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm here. I'm alive. My family's alive. We're doing well. And it makes me appreciate so much more having gone through this, what this has actually done to some people's lives. And, I have no understanding of the people that have actually lost someone to COVID, but, even down to the minute things like missing basketball, right? Like this is the thing that my son was looking forward to and he missed it. And I missed being able to watch him. So, COVID has impacted people's lives in so many ways, the things that you have given up because you had to. You couldn't be around other people, or maybe you just felt so bad, or you thought you would recover and you didn't. And now you can't participate in something with your kids or grandkids because you've got long COVID. Like, I don't know, it just colors my view in a different way. Once you actually experience what this virus has taken away from people, even as minute as basketball. We've all suffered, from the smallest to the biggest. And I can say I wish this would go away, but we know it's not. So we have to figure out how to live with it. And, I will tell you that after experiencing this, I said to my husband last night, I was like, man, F COVID. We're going on a vacation. We can go anywhere because we've got antibodies now. That's how I felt. That's how I literally felt. I was like, where do we want to go? Like, we can go anywhere. I was like, screw this virus. I'm not stopping my life because of this virus. But it does stop people's lives. And we do have to still be vigilant that we don't want to spread this to other people. So anyway, that's what I got for you today for episode 70. I want to know from you, did you get COVID? If you're listening to this, probably most of you have. How did it impact your life? What things did you have to give up because of COVID? Do you have long COVID? Is it still impacting your life months or weeks, months, years down the road? There's a girl on my Facebook page, and I feel so bad for her. I think she was one of the first people on my friends list to get infected. This was like March when it first really became kind of a right when everybody had shut down. she still is suffering. And everything's just been just a struggle for her. So when I see her post, I think, oh my gosh, her life is forever changed. And I know most people, I'm going to say most people, I hope most people, once they get this virus, they're able to clear it and then just kind of move on with their life and, get back to their normal health. But for so many people, that doesn't happen. And, who knows what kind of lasting effect this is going to have on us. Even my husband had said, oh my gosh, we're forever changed now. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, we're impacted now. I mean, we did have the vaccination, but, we actually had the virus. So we are impacted. Who knows what's going to happen? And you only cross your fingers and hope that you're not one of those people. But then you feel bad for the people who are. But anyway, I'm just hoping that you are fine, but I want to hear your stories. Are you recovering from COVID? Do you have COVID right now? And if so, what are your symptoms? What are you dealing with here? Are you giving up things because of what things have you given up because of COVID? I want to hear from you. So shoot me an email, Serena@thriftdiving, or you can hit me up on Instagram @thriftdiving. Email is usually better because I do see that much more quickly than I see my Instagram messages, DMs. And I will come back next week and we will talk about sewing, and we're going to talk about machines. I mean, I'm not going to tell you which machine to buy, but we're going to talk about machines. We're going to talk about notions. We're going to talk about how I got started with sewing and why I love it so much and why you probably would enjoy it too and how it can help your DIY. All right, guys, thank you for listening to this croaky voice here. I will see you next episode.